Hello, bedtime thinkers, and welcome to the Bedtime Discoveries. Tonight, I invite you to close your eyes, relax your breathing, and join me on a gentle journey through our solar system. Together, we will drift among the planets, moons, and mysteries of space in a calm and soothing way. The solar system is our cosmic neighborhood, a vast family of worlds orbiting a brilliant star we call the Sun. From tiny rocky planets to giant swirling gas worlds and icy realms far away, each place has its own story to tell. As we float through space tonight, we will slowly explore each world as if dreaming among the stars. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you are listening from tonight. What time is it where you are as you prepare to rest? Please share your location and the time in the comments. It makes our journey feel connected across the world. If you enjoy this calming exploration, please gently tap the like button and consider subscribing to the Bedtime Discoveries. Your support helps us continue creating soothing journeys for your peaceful nights. Close your eyes now and imagine yourself floating gently, calmly at the very center of our solar system. There, in the vast stillness of space, a giant star glows golden, warm, and eternal. This is the Sun, our cosmic parent, the heart of the solar system and the quiet keeper of light and life. The Sun is not just a ball of fire, as people sometimes say. It is a living star, a sphere of plasma, alive with motion and energy. It is made mostly of hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, and helium, the gas that makes balloons rise so effortlessly here on Earth. Yet within the Sun's heart, these tiny atoms are pressed together so tightly, so fiercely, that they fuse, releasing unimaginable energy. This process, called nuclear fusion, has been shining for more than 4.5 billion years, and it will continue for billions more. When you feel the warmth of sunlight on your face in the morning, you are feeling the touch of those very atoms, tiny particles of light, called photons born in the Sun's fiery core, have traveled millions of years to reach its surface. And then, in just 8 minutes, they cross the vast space between the Sun and Earth to fall gently upon your skin. A journey that began before humans even existed ends in a warm, glowing moment of life. The Sun is enormous beyond imagination, so vast that more than 1 million Earths could fit inside it. It is difficult to hold such a number in your mind. If Earth were the size of a small marble, the Sun beside it would be a giant beach ball, glowing and radiant. Its gravity, an invisible hand, keeps every planet, moon, asteroid, and comet bound to it. Without the Sun, our solar system would scatter into the dark, silent, and lifeless. And yet, for all its power, the Sun is also fragile in a way. It is one star among hundreds of billions in our galaxy alone, and one day it will fade. But tonight, as we rest, we can simply admire its brilliance, its generosity, its endless flow of light. If you look at ancient cultures, you find that people have always looked to the Sun with awe. The Egyptians called Are, the great sun god who sailed his fiery boat across the sky each day. In ancient Greece, they saw Helios driving a chariot of flame. And in many traditions, the Sun was not only a light, but a guardian, a giver of life, a symbol of hope. Imagine those early humans, long before cities and technology. They woke with a rising sun, worked beneath its glow, and slept as it set. The Sun was their clock, their guide, their warmth in the cold. Even today, our lives are ruled by its rhythm. We rise with its light, and we grow weary as it falls. The Sun's surface, which we call photosphere, is not smooth like a glowing ball. Instead, it boils with storms and currents. Giant eruptions of plasma leap into space, arcs of fire taller than Earth itself. These are solar flares, bursts of energy so powerful they can travel across the solar system. Sometimes they even reach Earth, sparking colorful auroras that dance across polar skies. A reminder that the sun is alive, restless, and always moving, but to us lying quietly under its gentle warmth. It feels calm, steady, and reassuring. The same sun that shines on you tonight is shining on distant deserts, on frozen mountains, and on oceans far away. It binds a whole earth together, under one light, one warmth, one life-giving glow. So, as we drift in thought tonight, let us rest in the sun's embrace, the star that has always been here, before us, around us, and for us. Take another slow breath, and imagine yourself moving closer, gently drifting toward the sun. Not too close, of course, for its surface is unimaginably hot, about 5,500 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt and vaporize nearly anything we know. Yet from this safe, dreamy distance we can simply observe, calm, still, and in wonder. Inside the sun lies its core, the beating heart of the star. It is here that temperatures soar to 15 million degrees Celsius. Here, the crushing weight of gravity presses atoms of hydrogen together until they fuse into helium. In that instant, a tiny part of their mass is lost and transformed into pure energy. It is Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, unfolding constantly in silence inside the sun's heart. This energy begins its journey outward, but it does not escape quickly. A single photon of light can take thousands, even millions of years to travel from the sun's core to its surface. It bounces endlessly, colliding with particles, zigzagging in a restless, random path, until at last it reaches the outer layers and escapes into space. So, the sunlight you feel on your skin today may have begun its journey long, before humans walked the earth. Perhaps before the pyramids were built, before mountains rose, even before oceans formed. Each golden ray carries with it the story of deep time, a quiet whisper from the heart of the cosmos. Above the core lies the radiative zone, where this light slowly diffuses outward. And beyond that, the convective zone, where hot plasma rises and falls, churning like boiling water in a great cosmic pot. This constant motion creates the sun's magnetic fields, twisting and bending like invisible threads. Sometimes these threads snap, releasing flares and storms that race into space. Some of these storms strike Earth, and when they do, our skies light up with auroras, green, purple, and red ribbons that shimmer in the polar night. A reminder that we are always connected to our star, not just by light, but by energy. The sun's outermost layer is its corona, a faint halo of plasma that stretches far into space. We can only see it clearly during a solar eclipse, when the moon slips in front of the sun and the sky darkens. For a few brief minutes, the hidden crown of the sun reveals itself, shimmering, delicate, and ghostly. Ancient people must have looked at these eclipses in awe and fear, for to them, it seemed as if the sun itself was being swallowed. Even now, when scientists watch the corona, they discover mysteries. Why is it, for instance, that this outer layer is far hotter than the sun's surface itself? It is a puzzle still unsolved, a quiet secret that the sun keeps. The sun also sings in its own way, not with sound waves, for space is silent, but with vibrations rippling across its surface. These oscillations allow scientists to study its inner structure, as though listening to the heartbeat of a star. When we think about life on Earth, we must remember none of it would exist without the sun. Its energy fuels plants through photosynthesis. Plants feed animals, and animals feed us. Even the fossil fuels we use today, coal, oil, and gas, are ancient sunlight stored in plants and creatures millions of years ago. So whether through fresh fruit on your table or warmth on your face, every part of your life is touched by the sun. There's also a gentler, more personal connection. Think of a morning when you stepped outside and felt sunlight fall across your skin. You may have closed your eyes and breathed deeply. That simple warmth carries something more than physics. It carries comfort, safety, and calm. For centuries, people have associated sunlight with happiness, healing, and hope. In winter, when the days grow shorter and sunlight fades, many feel their mood shift. Scientists call it seasonal affective disorder. But on a deeper level, it reminds us how much we depend on light. Our bodies, our rhythms, even our emotions are tied to the sun's rising and setting. And yet, though the sun feels eternal, it too is on a journey. It was born from a vast cloud of gas and dust, collapsing under gravity. And billions of years from now, it will change, swelling into a red giant before shedding its outer layers. But that time is far, far away, long beyond the span of humanity. For now, we can simply rest in its glow, knowing that each sunrise, each golden evening is a gift. So tonight, as we float in imagination, think of the sun not as distant and fierce, but as a quiet guardian watching over Earth with steady light, always shining, always present, even when hidden by clouds or night. Now, let us drift a little farther back so we can see the sun as more than just a star. For as long as humans have looked up at the sky, the sun has been our guide, our calendar, and our inspiration. Long before clocks and watches, people told time by watching the sun's shadow move across the ground. Sundials marked the hours, while the rising and setting of the sun shaped the rhythm of life. Farmers planted their seeds in spring, guided by the returning warmth of the sun. And harvest festivals were held when the sun began to fade in autumn. The sun was, in many ways, humanity's first teacher. Ancient civilizations saw it as divine. The Egyptians built temples that aligned perfectly with the sun at certain times of year. The Mayans built pyramids where shadows of the sun created illusions during the equinox. Even Stonehenge in England, still standing after thousands of years, was built in alignment with the sun's movements. These people lived in harmony with the sun, honoring its return, fearing its absence, and celebrating its power. But beyond mythology and ritual, the sun has always given something deeper, a sense of certainty. Every morning, without fail, it rises. Even after the darkest storms, the longest nights, the sun always returns. This simple truth has brought comfort to countless generations, and it still does today. Scientifically, the sun continues to surprise us. Even with modern telescopes and satellites, there is so much we do not yet fully understand. Its magnetic fields twist and tangle, creating sudden outbursts of energy. These solar storms can disrupt satellites, power grids, and even radio signals here on Earth. And yet, the same storms that trouble technology also paint the skies with shimmering auroras. It is as though the sun shows us both its strength and its beauty at once. Think, too, of how the sun connects us to the wider universe. Our sun is just one star among hundreds of billions in the Milky Way galaxy. And beyond our galaxy lie billions of others, each with their own suns, their own planets, their own mysteries. But to us, this star is special. For among all the stars we can see, this is the one that gave rise to life. Every tree, every bird, every smile, every heartbeat is possible only because the sun has shone steadily for billions of years. When you stand at the beach and watch the sunrise over the horizon, when golden light spills across the mountains, or when the last rays of sunset paint the sky in soft orange and purple hues. You're watching not just a ball of plasma in space, but the very reason we exist. There's also something deeply soothing about the sun's rhythm. The cycle of day and night, of warmth and cool, of activity and rest. It reminds us of balance, of the need to rise, to shine, and then to rest. Even our bodies follow this pattern, with our circadian rhythm tuned to the sun's light. We wake when the sun rises, and we feel calm and ready for sleep as it sets. Some scientists even wonder if this deep connection to the sun shapes the way we dream. For just as the sun rises each morning, our minds awaken after each night of rest, bringing light to the quiet landscapes of sleep. So, tonight, as you drift toward your own dreams, remember the sun, not as something far away, not as a burning, untouchable sphere, but as a companion, a guardian, a gentle, golden thread that ties us to the universe. It shines for us, it warms us, it guides us, and in its light we find both life and peace. Close your eyes, dear listener, and imagine yourself floating slowly away from the sun's great embrace. Ahead of us in the golden light is a tiny world, the closest planet to the sun. This is Mercury, the swift messenger of the solar system, small, cratered, and quiet, yet holding secrets that reach back to the very birth of our cosmic neighborhood. Mercury is a planet of extremes, because it sits so near the sun, just 58 million kilometers away. Its days are scorching and its nights are freezing. In the daytime, when sunlight floods its barren surface, the ground bakes at over 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. But when darkness falls and the sun slips below its horizon, the temperature plunges to nearly minus 180 degrees, colder than the icy poles of Earth. No world around us knows such violent swings between fire and frost. The reason lies in Mercury's size and in its lack of atmosphere. On Earth, our atmosphere acts like a blanket, spreading heat, softening cold, and protecting life. But Mercury is too small to hold on to such a blanket. Instead, it is bare, exposed, and raw, its surface at the mercy of the sun. And yet, Mercury is swift. It races around the sun faster than any other planet, completing one orbit in just 88 Earth days. The Romans named it after their god of speed, Mercury, the messenger, with winged sandals and a winged hat. And perhaps it is fitting, for this little planet does seem to hurry endlessly, forever chasing its star. When we look closely at Mercury's surface, we see a world scarred by time. Craters mark its face, silent reminders of ancient impacts when the solar system was young and chaotic. One of the largest is the Caloris Basin, a crater more than 1,500 kilometers wide, created by an enormous collision billions of years ago. Standing there, if one could, the horizon would be jagged, broken, and strange. The land itself reshaped by the violence of creation. But Mercury is not only ancient, it is also mysterious. For despite its heat and its closeness to the sun, scientists have discovered that ice may exist on its surface. In deep craters near its poles, where sunlight never reaches, lies frozen water, preserved in eternal shadow. These craters, hidden from the sun for billions of years, are like cosmic freezers, holding secrets of ice in a world of fire. Imagine that contrast, a place so hot it can melt metal, yet holding patches of frozen water that never thaw. Such paradoxes remind us how strange and delicate the universe can be. Mercury's days and nights are also unusual. A single day on Mercury, from one sunrise to the next, lasts 176 Earth days. This means that if you stood on its surface, you would see the sun rise, and then not set again for nearly 6 Earth months. During that long day, the ground would bake under relentless heat, and during the long night, the cold would stretch endlessly. It is a world where time itself feels stretched and distorted, a place where waiting for sunset could take half a year. Scientists have sent spacecraft to visit Mercury. The Mariner 10 mission in the 1970s gave us our first close look at this tiny planet. And more recently, the Messenger spacecraft orbited Mercury for 4 years, mapping its surface, measuring its magnetic field, and uncovering new mysteries. Now, another mission, Bepicolombo, is on its way, slowly making its journey, set to arrive in the 2030s. Each of these explorers extends our vision, letting us see a world we can never reach on our own. Mercury also carries a faint magnetic field, weaker than Earth's, but surprising for such a small world. It suggests that deep inside, Mercury still has a molten core churning slowly, keeping this tiny planet alive in its own quiet way. This hidden fire within reminds us even the smallest worlds have great secrets. From Earth, Mercury is shy. It never strays far from the sun in our sky, always rising just before dawn or setting just after sunset. If you have ever seen a small bright star close to the horizon, in those moments, perhaps you have glimpsed Mercury without knowing it. It hides in plain sight, a messenger passing quickly between light and darkness. So tonight, as we drift gently in thought, let's imagine Mercury, a small world of fire and ice, of long days and longer nights, a silent traveler forever circling its star, ancient, mysterious, and swift, the first stepping stone outward from the sun. Imagine yourself standing now on Mercury's rocky surface. There is no air to breathe, no wind to brush across your skin, only silence, heavy and endless. The sky above is not blue, but black, even in the middle of day. For without an atmosphere, the sun's light falls unfiltered, sharp, brilliant, and relentless. Its golden disk appears more than twice as large as it does from Earth, burning in stillness above the barren land. The ground beneath your feet will be gray and dusty, much like the surface of our moon, but rougher, older, scarred by craters and cracks. Everywhere you look, the land speaks of violence from long ago. For Mercury is one of the most ancient surfaces in the solar system. Billions of years have passed, and still its face remains nearly unchanged. You would notice strange ridges stretching for hundreds of kilometers. These are scarps, giant cliffs formed as Mercury slowly cooled and shrank. Unlike Earth, which is alive with plate tectonics and shifting continents, Mercury has no such motion. Instead, as its core cooled, the whole planet contracted, wrinkling like a dried apple. These scarps are frozen records of a shrinking world. Now let us pause and think about the time scales here. On Earth, we measure time in days, in years, in lifetimes. But on Mercury, time is etched in craters billions of years old. The land remembers the birth of the solar system, when planets were still forming, colliding, and settling into orbits. To stand here is to touch history far older than human memory. Mercury's long days and nights make it feel even more alien. Imagine waiting for the sun to rise, and knowing it will not set again for 3 months. Imagine watching shadows stretch slowly, endlessly, across a barren landscape. Then, at last, night falls, not gently, but suddenly. The heat escapes at once, and the land freezes, silent under a sky full of stars. If you looked up, you would see Earth and Venus as bright stars in the sky. And sometimes, if you were lucky, you might see a faint blue glow at the horizon, caused by dust floating above Mercury's surface. This dust, knocked loose by tiny meteors, catches sunlight and scatters it, a reminder that even in silence, Mercury is alive with subtle movements. Scientists have long wondered why Mercury is so dense for its size. Compared to other rocky planets, Mercury has an unusually large core, rich in iron. It is as though something stripped away much of its outer layers long ago. Perhaps a colossal collision in the early days of the solar system blast away its crust. Or perhaps the sun's intense heat burn away the lighter materials, leaving only the heavy core behind. Whichever the truth, Mercury remains a puzzle, a survivor of ancient violence. And yet, despite being so close to the sun, Mercury has places of eternal shadow. At its north and south poles lie craters where sunlight never enters. In these deep, frozen basins, radar studies have revealed bright reflections, the signature of ice. How strange to think of frozen water clinging to this scorched world, trapped for billions of years, never touched by sunlight, never melted. If one day humans explore Mercury's poles, they may find these icy deposits, a reminder that even the harshest places can carry whispers of water and perhaps of hope. There's also a haunting stillness about Mercury. On Earth, even in the quietest deserts, you can hear the wind or the rustle of leaves or the distant cry of a bird. But on Mercury, there is only silence. No air to carry sound, no breeze to stir the dust. The only movements come from meteors striking the surface, small impacts that echo across billions of years. It is a silence so complete, it is almost sacred. And yet, Mercury speaks to us in another way. Through its orbit, its path around the sun is not a simple ellipse, but a slightly shifting curve. Astronomers long puzzled over this strange motion. For centuries, Mercury's orbit defied Newton's laws, as though something unseen tugged at it. The mystery was solved only when Einstein presented his theory of general relativity. Mercury's orbit, with its tiny wobble, became one of the first proofs of Einstein's ideas. A small planet, helping us unlock the secrets of space and time itself. So Mercury is not only ancient, it is also wise. It carries the scars of creation, the whispers of ice, the silence of emptiness. And yet it also helped us understand gravity, motion, and the fabric of the universe. A tiny world, close to the sun, yet holding lessons far greater than its size. Tonight, as we float in imagination, Mercury feels like a quiet, hidden gem. We rarely see it, we rarely think of it, but it is always there, circling swiftly, faithfully, just beyond the sun's blinding light. A little messenger, carrying both mystery and meaning. Let us drift once more above Mercury, not standing on its surface now, but floating just beyond, watching the little planet glide around the sun. From here, Mercury appears as a small, gray sphere, marked with craters like scars of time. It is not colorful like Earth, nor ringed like Saturn. It is quiet, subdued, almost shy. And yet, there is a strange beauty in its simplicity. When ancient astronomers first studied the skies, they noticed Mercury's quick movements. It darted back and forth near the horizon, never straying far from the sun. To them, it seemed like a restless messenger, hurrying across the heavens. The Greeks called it Hermes, the messenger god. The Romans, too, gave the name Mercury, a god of speed, of travelers, of communication. How fitting that the smallest planet, moving the fastest, carries the name of a divine messenger. In many cultures, Mercury symbolized agility, cleverness, and transition. It was seen as a bridge between worlds, between day and night, between the heavens and earth. And in some ways, it still serves that role today. For Mercury sits on the boundary between the sun's blazing power and the quiet outer planets, a small, swift bridge in the great cosmic family. Though Mercury is barren, scientists have long wondered what it might teach us about the early solar system. Because it has changed so little over billions of years, it preserves ancient clues. Its craters, its cliffs, its iron-rich core all tell stories of how worlds are born, shaped, and aged. Studying Mercury is like opening a time capsule, a frozen record from the dawn of creation. And though it is small, Mercury still surprises us. The discovery of water ice at its poles was one such surprise. Another was the realization that Mercury has a magnetic field, though it is weak. This means that deep inside, its molten heart still turns, a small flame of activity in an otherwise silent world. Even its thin, ghostly exosphere, a fragile veil of atoms knocked loose from its surface, reminds us that Mercury is never completely still. Each time a meteor strikes or the solar wind brushes against it, new atoms rise into this faint cloud. They drift briefly above the planet, before escaping into space. It is not an atmosphere as we know it, but a whisper of a breath that comes and goes. Think of how different Mercury's experience of the sun is compared to ours. On Earth, the sun warms us, comforts us, nurtures life. On Mercury, the sun dominates every moment. Its disk looms huge in the sky. Its heat scours the surface. Its gravity holds Mercury in a tight embrace. To live here would be to live always under the eye of the sun, without shelter, without rest. And yet Mercury endures. It does not burn away. It does not vanish. It continues its swift orbit, steady and faithful. It is the smallest planet, yes, but also one of the most enduring. In a way, Mercury reminds us of resilience. Even the smallest among the planets, scarred, battered, and exposed, carries wisdom, carries purpose, carries beauty. And even though we rarely notice it in our skies, it has always been there, circling the sun with tireless speed. If you ever wish to see it for yourself, look just before sunrise or just after sunset. Find the small, bright star hugging the horizon. It will shine only briefly, then vanish into the sun's glow. That fleeting glimpse is Mercury, the messenger, revealing itself only to those who watch carefully. So tonight, as we drift in thought, let us leave Mercury where it belongs. Swift, silent, resilient, circling close to its star, a small world with a great story. And as we move on in our journey, let us remember Mercury's lesson, that even the quietest, most hidden things can carry endless wonder. As we drift away from the swift little Mercury, we move outward, and soon another world begins to glow in the distance. This is Venus, the brightest planet in our skies, a shimmering jewel that has long captured the eyes and imaginations of people across the earth. From Earth's surface, Venus often appears just before sunrise or just after sunset. For this reason, it is called the morning star and the evening star, though it is not a star at all, but a planet wrapped in shining clouds. For thousands of years, people believed these two bright lights, morning and evening, were separate stars. It was only later, when careful observation revealed their motion, that they understood both were one and the same, the planet Venus. Seen from afar, Venus looks peaceful, glowing with a soft cream color, wrapped in endless cloud. It seems like a gentle twin to Earth, nearly the same size, nearly the same mass, a sister planet, orbiting close beside us. But beneath that veil of clouds lies a very different reality. If we were to descend through Venus's atmosphere, the soft brightness would give way to thick, golden skies, heavy and hot. Clouds of sulfuric acid drift endlessly, and the air itself is suffocating, filled with carbon dioxide. The pressure on the surface is crushing more than 90 times what we feel on Earth. It is as though the entire wave of an ocean presses down upon you. And the heat, oh, the heat. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Even though Mercury is closer to the sun, Venus's thick atmosphere traps heat so fiercely that the surface temperature never cools. It remains hotter than an oven, hot enough to melt metal. This is the greenhouse effect. Taken to its extreme, a world where warmth cannot escape, and the air becomes an eternal blanket of fire. And yet, though it is harsh, Venus is also strangely beautiful. The surface is dotted with volcanoes, with vast plains of hardened lava, with mountains that rise like silent guardians. Some volcanoes may still be active, sending out whispers of heat through the thick air. The land is ancient, but also alive in ways we do not fully understand. Imagine standing there, though no human ever has. The sky would glow a dim orange, never blue. The sun itself would be hidden behind thick haze, its light scattered until only a dull brightness filled the air. The horizon would look distorted, bent by the weight of the atmosphere. And the heat, the silence, the crushing air, it would feel like a dream or perhaps a warning. Scientists sometimes call Venus a mirror of what Earth could have been or what Earth might one day become if balance were lost. It is a world shaped by runaway climate, where heat and pressure combine to transform a planet into a furnace. And so Venus is not only beautiful to the eye, it is also a teacher, a reminder of the fragile balance that makes life on Earth possible. But for the ancient stargazers, Venus was more than science. It was a goddess, a symbol of love and beauty. To the Greeks, she was Aphrodite. To the Romans, she was Venus. To the Maya, she was Kukulkan's star, a bringer of cycles and prophecy. In many cultures, Venus was a guiding light, its rhythm in the sky tied to calendars, myths, and stories of love and creation. So, as we float now above this radiant world, let us see it both ways, as a place of mystery and science, and as a timeless symbol of beauty in the night sky. It is Earth's twin, but not Earth's equal, a world that glows gently from afar, while hiding a storm beneath its veil. As we drift closer, let us imagine what it would be like, not only to look at Venus from afar, but to send our instruments, our explorers, down into its thick skies. For centuries, we could only wonder. The surface was hidden from telescopes, because the clouds never parted. But in the 20th century, humans sent machines to pierce the veil. The Venera probes from the Soviet Union were the first to land on Venus. Brave little machines dropped into a crushing, burning world. Most of them survived only a few minutes on the surface, some lasting just over an hour, before the heat and pressure silenced them forever. But in that short time, they captured something extraordinary. Photographs of flat, rocky ground, the light dim and golden, as though the entire world were caught in an eternal sunset. Images of stones, cracked and jagged, lying in silence under skies too heavy for sound. These were the first glimpses of another planet's surface ever seen by human eyes. Later, radar mapping from orbit gave us a clearer picture. Instead of oceans and rivers like Earth, Venus's surface was revealed as a vast volcanic landscape. Mountains rose higher than Everest. Volcanoes spread wider than any on Earth, and great plains stretched across the planet, shaped by ancient flows of lava. One mountain in particular, Mont Mons, may still be active today. If so, then Venus is not a dead world, but fiery one, with molten rock still bubbling beneath its crust. In a way, the planet is alive, not with life as we know it, but with geological motion, with heat and power still shaping its skin. But perhaps the most haunting discovery came not from the surface, but from the skies above, high in the Venusian atmosphere. Conditions are far less hostile. The temperature is cooler, the pressure gentler. There, floating among the sulfuric clouds, some scientists have wondered, could something exist? Not plants or animals like Earth's, but tiny life forms, microbes drifting like dust motes in the golden air. No evidence has yet proven this dream, but even the possibility reminds us of how vast and creative the universe can be. If life could survive in such a strange place, it would teach us that even the harshest worlds may hold surprises. Venus also teaches us about the balance of climate. Billions of years ago, it may have had oceans. It may once have been more Earth-like, with water flowing across its plains, with a chance, however slim, for life to emerge. But as the sun grew brighter and the atmosphere thickened with carbon dioxide, the oceans boiled away. What remained was a runaway greenhouse effect, turning the planet into a furnace from which there was no return. And so, Venus is not only a world of mystery, but also a warning, a vision of what can happen when balance is lost, when heat and atmosphere create a chain that cannot be broken. It is as if Venus is whispering to us, reminding Earth to protect the fragile balance that allows life to thrive. Yet for all its harshness, there is still beauty here. From Earth, Venus remains a beacon in the sky, a soft and brilliant light, brighter than any star. It shines at dawn and at dusk, as though it wants to guide us into the day, and then gently lead us into the night. For ancient farmers, its rising marked the time to plant and harvest. For sailors, it was a point of navigation. For poets, it was a symbol of love and longing. And even today, when we look up and see that glowing star beside the moon, we feel a sense of calm, a connection to the vastness beyond our world. So Venus lives in two ways, as a fiery planet hidden beneath clouds, and as a bright jewel that has inspired dreams for millennia. It is both science and story, a reminder that the universe is filled with contrasts, beauty and danger, closeness and mystery. Now, let us take one more gentle journey, deeper into the story of Venus, not only as a planet, but as a mirror reflecting our own questions about life, time, and destiny. Imagine standing on its surface. Though no human has yet done so, the air around you would be so heavy that every breath would crush your lungs. And yet, because the atmosphere is so dense, if you waved your hand, the air would feel almost like water flowed around your skin. The light would be dim and yellow, casting everything in a golden twilight. Rocks would stretch out before you, flat and broken, like the floor of an ancient desert. And above, the clouds would swirl endlessly, never letting you glimpse the sun directly. But perhaps what you would notice most is the silence. On Venus, there would be no bird song, no rustle of trees, no whisper of the wind as we know it. The thick air would muffle sound, turning the entire world into a hushed chamber, where the only voice might be the slow hiss of gases moving through the heat. In that silence, one might begin to wonder, if Earth and Venus began so similarly, why did their paths diverge so completely? Why did Earth bloom with oceans and forests, while Venus became a furnace of storms? These questions drive scientists to study Venus even today. For the answer may reveal much about the destiny of all rocky planets. Space agencies dream of sending more explorers there, not just probes that survive for minutes, but machines that can endure the heat for months, mapping the surface, tasting the air, searching for clues about the past. Perhaps one day, balloons will float in the upper atmosphere, carrying instruments, and maybe even in the distant future, people. It sounds like science fiction. Yet, when we look back at history, many things that seem like dreams have become reality. Venus itself has always lived in the border between dream and truth. For thousands of years, humans wove stories around it. The Greeks called it Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The Romans named it Venus. Other cultures gave it names tied to morning, to evening, to fertility, to renewal. Some ancient people thought the morning star and the evening star were two different lights, until they realized they were one and the same, a planet with two faces, shining at both the beginning and end of the day. Even today, when children look up and see Venus glowing after sunset, there's often a moment of wonder, a first spark of curiosity about the universe. It is a gateway planet, the one most visible to our eyes, the one that reminds us the night sky is alive with worlds. In the end, Venus remains a paradox, a planet so near yet so different, a place that is both beautiful and deadly, familiar and alien, a world wrapped in mystery, and yet always shining brightly for us to see. And perhaps that is the gift Venus gives us. It teaches us that appearances can be deceiving, that beneath beauty may lie harshness, and beneath harshness, lessons of great value. It invites us to wonder, to dream, and to remember that even in the vastness of space, there are neighbors close by, each with its own story, each whispering to us through the quiet night. As we gently drift away from Venus, its golden glow lingers in our thoughts, soft and shimmering, like a lantern in the twilight sky. After drifting past the pale clouds of Venus, we now find ourselves before a familiar jewel, the only place in the solar system we know with certainty to harbor life, our Earth. From space, Earth appears as a radiant sphere of blue and white, swirled with clouds that curl like brushstrokes, and edged with the soft glow of atmosphere. Astronauts often describe the sight as breathtaking, a vision so moving that it changes the way they see the world forever. They call it the overview effect, a sudden realization that Earth is fragile, a small oasis suspended in the dark ocean of the universe. From orbit, there are no borders, no nations, just a single living world shared by all. As we draw closer, let us take a slow, soothing journey to understand what makes this world so unique. Earth is often called the Goldilocks planet, not too hot, not too cold, but just right for life. Its distance from the sun allows water to exist in liquid form, covering more than 70% of its surface. And it is this water that gives Earth its deep blue glow, a color unlike any other world we have seen. Imagine drifting gently over the oceans, seeing them shimmer under the sunlight. The waves rise and fall in an endless rhythm, like the breathing of the planet itself. Water evaporates into the sky, forms clouds, and falls again as rain, feeding rivers and lakes, nurturing the green lands that stretch below. And those lands, how varied they are. Towering mountains pierce the clouds. Vast forests sway in the wind. Golden deserts shimmer in the heat, while icy poles gleam like mirrors under the sun. Earth's landscapes tell a story of constant change, shaped by the movement of tectonic plates, by winds, by water, and by time itself. But perhaps Earth's most remarkable quality is its atmosphere, a gentle blanket of gases that wraps around the planet. It shields us from harmful radiation, keeps our climate stable, and allows us to breathe with every quiet inhale. The sky may seem ordinary as we walk beneath it each day, but in truth, it is a miracle. Without it, life as we know it could never exist. And then, of course, there's life itself, from the smallest microbes hidden in rocks to the largest whales that swim the oceans. Life fills every corner of this planet. It grows in deserts, in caves, in the deepest seas, and high upon mountain peaks. It adapts, evolves, and continues like a great tapestry of endless variety. Yet among all life forms, humans stand out, for we are the ones who gaze upward and wonder. We are the ones who tell stories about the stars, who build machines to explore, who dream of walking on other worlds. And yet, despite our ambitions, Earth remains our true home, the cradle of all our beginnings. As you listen, you might imagine yourself floating high above Earth, looking down at the continents, the oceans, the clouds drifting softly across its face. And as you do, a feeling of calm may wash over you, a reminder that we are all part of this one delicate world, spinning silently through the cosmos. As we drift closer to Earth, let us linger on the delicate systems that keep this world alive, balanced, and endlessly renewing itself. One of the most profound rhythms of Earth is the cycle of day and night. The planet spins slowly on its axis, taking just under 24 hours to complete a turn. This steady rotation gives us light and darkness, warmth and rest, work and sleep. Imagine, for a moment, standing in the soft glow of dawn. The sun rises gently, casting golden light across the horizon. Shadows stretch long, birds begin their morning songs, and the world slowly awakens. Then, as evening falls, the sun sinks low, painting the sky in shades of orange, pink, and violet, before handing the sky over to the stars. This daily rhythm has guided life for billions of years, teaching all creatures when to move, when to rest, and when to dream. But Earth has another, slower rhythm, the cycle of seasons. Because Earth tilts on its axis, different parts of the globe receive more sunlight at different times of the year. This gentle tilt, just over 23 degrees, is the reason for spring blossoms, summer warmth, autumn leaves, and winter snows. Imagine walking through a forest in springtime, the air filled with the scent of new growth, tiny leaves unfolding under gentle rains. Now picture the same forest in autumn, leaves glowing amber and gold, falling softly to the earth, preparing for the stillness of winter. This cycle of change shapes the lives of plants and animals, guiding migrations, harvests, and the timeless traditions of humanity. Another wonder of Earth is its diverse ecosystems, from rainforests dripping with life, to deserts where only the toughest survive, to icy tundras where creatures endure the cold. Each environment is a world of its own. The Amazon rainforest, for example, is often called the lungs of the planet, producing vast amounts of oxygen and housing millions of species, many still undiscovered. The oceans, covering most of Earth's surface, are home to dazzling coral reefs, great schools of fish, and mysterious deep-sea creatures that glow like stars in the dark. Every ecosystem plays a role in the greater harmony of Earth, each connected to the other like notes in a soothing symphony. And in this balance, water once again emerges as a thread that ties everything together. The water cycle moves endlessly across the globe, oceans giving rise to clouds, clouds bringing rain to land, rivers flowing back to the sea. This continuous movement not only nourishes life, but also shapes landscapes, carves valleys, and builds fertile soil. Without this gentle circulation, Earth would be silent and barren. As we reflect on these rhythms, there is comfort in knowing that our planet breathes and turns, day after day, season after season, carrying us all upon its steady path around the sun. And just as our hearts beat with quiet constancy, so too does Earth's pulse, through its winds, its waters, its cycles of light and shadow. As you imagine this, allow your mind to rest on the thought of Earth's deep harmony, a place where balance is woven into every breath, every raindrop, every falling leaf. It is a reminder that we too are part of these rhythms, connected, not separate, from the living web of our planet. Now that we have explored Earth's rhythms of day, night, and season, let us gently turn our gaze to what makes this world unique in the vast universe, its ability to harbor and to nurture life. At the heart of this wonder lies the biosphere, a thin, fragile layer of life that stretches from the deepest ocean trenches to the highest mountaintops. It is astonishing to realize how delicate this layer truly is, and yet within it, countless forms of life thrive, from the smallest microbes to the largest whales. Every breath of air, every sip of water, every bite of food we take is part of this intricate web that Earth maintains with quiet devotion. Consider the air we breathe, a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, and traces of other gases, perfectly balanced for life. Too little oxygen, and creatures could not survive. Too much, and fires would rage uncontrollably. This precise harmony has been shaped over billions of years, partly by the earliest plants and microorganisms, who released oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. In a way, the air around us is the gift of ancient life, passed down through deep time, so that future beings, including us, could exist. Then there is the soil beneath our feet, not just dirt, but a living layer filled with microorganisms, worms, roots, and fungi. It is the quiet foundation of forests, grasslands, and farms. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in this rich earth, waiting for rains, watching sprouts push gently toward the light. Each grain of soil is part of a grand story, one of growth, nourishment, and renewal. Earth also holds the gift of biodiversity, the countless species that fill its lands, waters, and skies. From the brilliant colors of tropical birds to the secret lives of nocturnal animals that stir under the moonlight, to the intricate dance of bees as they pollinate flowers. Life on Earth is not only abundant, but beautifully interconnected. One creature's survival often depends on another, creating a tapestry of relationships that is both delicate and strong. And we as humans are deeply woven into this fabric. Our bodies are tuned to Earth cycles. We sleep and wake with the turning of the planet. We eat food grown under its sun. We drink water that has journeyed through its rivers and clouds. Even our stories, myths, and traditions are rooted in the landscapes around us. Mountains, forests, oceans, and skies. To live on Earth is not simply to exist upon it, but to be part of its ongoing story. Yet, Within this wonder lies a gentle reminder. Earth systems are resilient, but not unbreakable. Forests can vanish, oceans can warm, air can be polluted. Still, the story of Earth is not one of despair, but of hope. Time and again, life has shown its ability to heal, to adapt, to flourish once more. And each of us, through the choices we make, becomes a caretaker of this extraordinary world. As we drift away from Earth in our journey through the solar system, let us carry the memory of its gentle blue glow, a living world spinning silently in the dark of space, sustaining us all. It is more than a planet. It is our home, our cradle, our companion in the vast cosmos. So, as you breathe softly now, imagine yourself wrapped in the embrace of Earth, its winds brushing your skin, its waters flowing through your veins, its rhythm steady and calm, a place of endless wonder and quiet peace. As we gently lift our gaze from Earth's glowing surface, we see a familiar companion in the night sky, the moon. It has been with us for as long as humanity has looked upward, a silver lantern guiding travelers, a silent witness to history, and a source of wonder, poetry, and mystery. The moon is Earth's only natural satellite, orbiting us once every 27 days. Though it seems so near, it rests about 380 for 1,000 kilometers away. From your window, it appears close enough to touch, yet in reality, a vast expanse of space lies between us. Still, its presence feels deeply intimate, as though it were part of Earth's own being. In the soft stillness of night, the moon glows not with its own light, but with the light it borrows from the sun. Every phase, from slender crescent to full shining disk, is a gentle reflection of sunlight upon its surface. And with these changing shapes, the moon marks the passage of time. Ancient farmers looked to its cycles to guide planting and harvest. Sailors trusted its pull on the tides, and storytellers wove its phases into myths of renewal, love, and change. Imagine early humans sitting around fires thousands of years ago, lifting their eyes to the glowing orb above. To them, the moon was a divine being, a protector, a calendar, a source of rhythm in an unpredictable world. Even today, its presence soothes us. A quiet crescent rising after sunset, a bright full moon bathing landscapes in silver light. It feels almost like a gentle companion, keeping watch over the earth as we sleep. But beyond beauty and myth, the moon plays a vital role in Earth's balance. It pulls gently on our oceans, causing the tides to rise and fall. These tides shape coastlines, nourish ecosystems, and regulate the movements of countless marine creatures. Without the moon, Earth's waters would be restless in a very different way, lacking the steady rhythm that gives life to so many. The moon also helps stabilize Earth itself. Without it, our planet might wobble too much on its axis, causing dramatic swings in climate. But with the moon's steadying influence, Earth maintains a balance, allowing life to thrive in relative stability. It is as though the moon is not just a companion, but a guardian, quietly ensuring that the stage of life remains calm enough for its story to continue. And when we look closer at the moon, we see a surface that tells a story of time and violence. Craters mark the scars of countless impacts from ancient asteroids and comets. Mountains rise, valleys stretch wide, and vast plains of hardened lava remind us that once, long ago, the moon was far more active than it is today. It has no air to breathe, no oceans to flow, no forest to grow, yet it carries the echoes of Earth's early history. In a sense, to study the moon is to glimpse our own beginnings. So, as you close your eyes and imagine drifting across the quiet sky, picture the moon glowing softly above, a silent neighbor, a guardian of tides, a timeless friend. It does not speak, yet it has whispered to humanity for millennia, inviting us to dream. Now, let us wander a little deeper into the moon story, from the myths and rhythms it inspires, to the mysteries of its creation. The question of how the moon came to be has long stirred the imagination of both poets and scientists. Ancient myths told of gods placing it in the heavens, of celestial animals chasing it across the sky, or of a goddess watching over the earth each night. But science, with its quiet persistence, offers a different tale. Most astronomers believe the moon was born in fire, from a colossal impact more than 4.5 billion years ago. A young Earth, still forming, was struck by a Mars-sized body, a cataclysm so violent that fragments of molten rock were thrown into orbit. Over time, these fragments gathered together, cooling and forming the sphere we now know as the moon. In a way, the moon is Earth's child, and also its twin, made of the same material, forever bound by gravity, forever circling, forever watching. As the moon formed, it orbited much closer Earth than it does now. Imagine looking into the night sky billions of years ago. The moon would have appeared enormous, its pull on the ocean stronger, its presence overwhelming. Slowly, over eons, it drifted outward, stretching the invisible tether of gravity until it reached its current distance. And even today, the moon is still drifting, little by little, about 4 centimeters farther away each year. A quiet, endless dance between parent and child, between Earth and its companion. But the moon does more than orbit. It turns ever so slowly, keeping one face always toward us. This is because of a phenomenon called tidal locking. Gravity has synchronized the moon's spin with its orbit so that one side, the near side, is all we ever see from Earth. The other side, the mysterious far side, remained hidden from human eyes until spacecraft revealed it in the 20th century. And what we discovered was astonishing. A landscape scarred, rugged, so different from the familiar patterns of the near side. It was as though the moon kept its secrets for billions of years, showing us only the face it wished us to know. And then came a turning point in our story with the moon, the moment when humanity, after thousands of years of wonder, finally set foot upon its surface. The Apollo missions of the 1960s and 70s carried brave astronauts across the void of space. When Neil Armstrong stepped down the ladder in 1969 and his foot pressed into the lunar dust, it was as though all of humanity had touched the moon together. For the first time, our companion in the sky was no longer unreachable. We had crossed a gulf, stood upon its ancient plains, and gazed back at Earth, a fragile blue marble floating in the blackness. Those journeys gave us not only samples of rock and soil, but also a new perspective. They reminded us that Earth is precious, small, and alone in the vastness. The moon, in its quiet way, became a mirror for reflection, a reminder of where we come from and how fragile and beautiful our home truly is. Even today, when we look at the moon, we see more than rock and dust. We see the stories of our ancestors, the science of our beginnings, and the promise of our future. For many believe that one day we will return to the moon, not just to visit, but to stay. Perhaps one day, tiny lights will shine from domes on its surface. As humans build homes beneath the stars, the moon, once a distant dream, may yet become a place where stories of tomorrow unfold. So, as we rest tonight, let us imagine drifting over its surface, seeing the gray dust beneath us, the earth rising over the horizon, blue and glowing, a view so serene, so humbling, that it still moves the hearts of all who see it. As we linger with the moon a little longer, let us turn to its influence upon life, its rhythms, and its quiet guidance over our world. The most obvious gift of the moon is its command over the tides. Each day, oceans rise and fall, pulled gently by its gravity. Waves crash against distant shores. Bays swell and retreat, and life follows these hidden rhythms. For creatures of the sea, the moon's pull shapes survival. Tiny crabs crawl onto beaches to lay their eggs under the safety of high tide. Fish spawn in cycles guided by the moon's phases. Even coral reefs release their eggs and sperm in mass events. Synchronized with the moonlight, it is as if life itself listens to the silent voice of our companion in the sky. But it is not only the sea that responds. Humans, too, have always felt the moon's sway. Long before calendars, people measured time by its phases: waxing crescent, full, waning, new. Farmers planted crops by moonlight. Travelers moved by night under its silver glow. And storytellers, gathered around fires, looked up to the heavens and spun tales inspired by its shape. The full moon, bright and watchful, has been a symbol of mystery for as long as memory stretches. Some cultures saw it as a guide, others as a guardian. Its changing face became a canvas for stories. A rabbit pounding rice cakes, a man carrying sticks, a goddess watching from above. Though the stories differ across the world, they all share the same wonder, the same longing to explain what shines so brightly in the darkness. Science, too, has shown us how deeply the moon shapes us. Its stabilizing pull on Earth's axis keeps our planet steady, holding our seasons in balance. Without it, Earth might wobble wildly, climates swinging in chaotic extremes. The moon is like a hand, steadying the spinning top of our world, ensuring that life has the calm, stable conditions it needs to thrive. It is not just a distant stone in the sky. It is a partner in the story of life. And still, the moon speaks to us in quiet ways. Poets write of lovers walking beneath its glow. Artists paint it as a lantern of hope. Children dream of flying to touch it. It is a symbol that unites humanity. For no matter where you stand, in a bustling city, on a quiet plain, or a mountain peak, the moon shines the same, watching, gentle, constant. Perhaps that is why, even with all our technology, all our discoveries, the moon remains so deeply human. It is not only an object of science, but also a mirror of our emotions. Loneliness, hope, wonder, mystery, all seem to glow from its pale light. So tonight, as you imagine it hanging above you, know that countless others are looking too. Across oceans, deserts, and forests, we all share the same sky, the same companion. The moon is not only Earth's satellite, it is our common story, a thread woven through the tapestry of human life, binding us together under its silver light. And with that, we leave the moon for now, its face calm, its glow timeless, as we continue onward to the next step in our journey across the solar system. Between the red sands of Mars and the swirling storms of Jupiter, There exists a vast and quiet region, a place filled not with planets, but with countless fragments of stone and ice. This is the asteroid belt, a silent kingdom of drifting worlds, small and ancient, yet holding secrets as old as the solar system itself. When we imagine space, we often think of empty blackness, a great void between the planets. But here, in this hidden belt, is a realm alive with movement. Millions of asteroids spin slowly, each a wandering traveler, circling the sun in orbits that have remained steady for billions of years. Some are no bigger than a pebble. Others are massive, stretching hundreds of kilometers across. Together, they form a great ring, a bridge between the inner solar system, where rocky planets dwell, and the outer solar system, where giants of gas and ice reign. The story of the asteroid belt is, in truth, a story of beginnings. Long ago, when the solar system was young, clouds of dust and gas swirled around the newborn sun. From that swirling disk, planets were born. But here, between Mars and Jupiter, something different happened. Instead of merging into a single large planet, the rocks remained scattered. Why? Because of Jupiter. Jupiter, the mighty giant, exerted such a strong gravitational pull that it disturbed this region, stirring it, tugging it, and preventing the fragments from ever joining into a true planet. And so, what we see today is a frozen memory, a region that never became what it might have been, a half-born world, a cradle of stone, forever unfinished. As you drift here in your imagination, picture a vast darkness, lit only by the glow of distant sunlight. All around, slowly tumbling rocks glint faintly in the light, each spinning silently on its journey. Unlike the crowded scenes shown in movies, the real asteroid belt is mostly empty. You could travel millions of kilometers without striking a single rock. Yet still, they are there, each one a witness to time. Some asteroids, like Ceres, are so large they become almost planet-like. Ceres alone makes up a third of the asteroid belt's total mass, its round shape glowing faintly, an icy whirl with hints of water hidden beneath its crust. Others, like Vesta, shine with brightness, their surfaces scarred by ancient impacts, and countless smaller fragments, some little more than floating boulders, the dark expanse like forgotten jewels. Scientists call these rocks leftovers, but that word almost feels too simple. They are more than leftovers. They are time capsules. Each asteroid holds the raw materials of the early solar system, unchanged, unshaped, pristine. By studying them, we glimpse what the Earth, the Moon, and all the planets were once made of. They are pieces of our story, fragments of the recipe that built everything we know. And as we imagine them now, let us soften our breath, slowing down to their rhythm. Asteroids drift not in haste, but in patience. Each orbit takes years. Each spin is unhurried. They remind us that the universe does not rush. Time moves gently here, like a slow tide, like a dream unfolding. Imagine yourself floating slowly between Mars and Jupiter, the sun glowing faintly ahead, its light weaker here, but still enough to give each tumbling rock a soft golden shimmer. You drift past boulders the size of mountains, their surfaces dark, scarred by craters that speak of countless collisions. Every stone here has a story, a journey billions of years in the making. The asteroid belt is not uniform. It has layers, like a cosmic library with different shelves. Some regions are more densely packed with objects, while others are nearly empty, as if carved away. These gaps are not accidents. They are the handiwork of Jupiter. Jupiter's gravity creates what scientists call Kirkwood gaps, zones where asteroids cannot survive in stable orbits. Whenever an asteroid drifts into one of these special spots, Jupiter's pull nudges it away, casting it elsewhere, sometimes even sending it hurtling toward the inner planets. In this way, the asteroid belt is not only a museum of the past, it is also a quiet messenger. Many of the meteorites that fall to Earth began their journey here, shaken loose by Jupiter's invisible hand. Some of these rocks reach us as brilliant streaks of light, shooting across the night sky, burning in Earth's atmosphere. Others survive the fall, landing as meteorites, tiny, solid pieces of the solar system's memory, delivered right into our hands. When scientists study them, they find traces of water, organic molecules, and the same building blocks that once seeded Earth. It is almost as if the asteroid belt, in its silence, has been whispering to us all along, reminding us where we came from. One of the most intriguing asteroids is Ceres. Discovered in 1801, Ceres was first thought to be a planet. It is nearly spherical, large enough that its own gravity has rounded it into a proper shape. For a time, it was celebrated as a new planet in our solar system. But as more and more asteroids were discovered, Ceres was reclassified, and today we call it a dwarf planet, sharing that title with Pluto. Yet Ceres still holds mysteries. In 2015, NASA's Dawn spacecraft orbited this little world and discovered bright, reflective spots shining from its surface. These turned out to be deposits of salt and ice, suggesting that beneath Ceres' crust may lie a hidden ocean, a world of stone, and yet perhaps still carrying the whispers of water. Other asteroids tell different tales. Vesta, the brightest of them all, has a surface painted with streaks of lava, frozen from ancient eruptions. It reminds us that even small worlds can once burn with fire. Then there are the dark, carbon-rich asteroids, filled with the organic materials that might have once fallen to Earth and played a role in the spark of life itself. Every asteroid is a fragment, a clue, a frozen page in the story of creation. And yet, despite their significance, this region is incredibly peaceful. The asteroids do not huddle close, nor do they crash into one another constantly. Instead, they float in isolation, their paths carefully shaped by gravity's slow hand. Movies often show spacecraft weaving frantically through crowded asteroid fields, dodging rock after rock. But in truth, a ship could pass through the entire belt without ever coming near a single asteroid. The space between them is vast, silent, and empty, and perhaps that makes their presence all the more haunting. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that silence. The stars are sharp above, the sun a pale golden disk in the distance. Here, time does not flow quickly. Every orbit around the sun takes years. Every spin of a stone is slow, steady, unrushed. You are in a realm where patience rules. And in that patience, in that stillness, you find peace. The asteroid belt reminds us of something deep and universal, that not everything must complete its journey. Not every fragment becomes a planet. Not every possibility is fulfilled. And yet, there's beauty in what remains. The asteroids are incomplete, unfinished, and yet they hold a quiet perfection. They are not planets, but they are timeless. They drift in darkness, yet they carry light within them, reflecting the sun's glow across billions of years. As you drift further through the stony expanse, you may begin to notice how human imagination has long been drawn to these fragments of rock. For thousands of years, people gazed up at the sky, watching streaks of light dart across the darkness. They called them omens, messages from the gods, or sparks of fire falling from the heavens. To the ancient Greeks and Romans, asteroids were not lifeless stones, but celestial wanderers, each with its own spirit, its own story. The very word asteroid means star-like, a fitting name, for from Earth they look like faint stars, moving ever so slightly against a backdrop of constellations. But unlike stars, they are close, small, and fragile. Perhaps that is why they continue to fascinate us, because in their smallness, they seem more like us, not giants of fire like the sun, not swirling gas worlds like Jupiter, but little fragments, shaped by time, battered by storms, still enduring. In modern times, our fascination has only deepened. Spacecraft such as Hayabusa 2 and OSIRIS-RX have journeyed across millions of miles to gently touch asteroids, collecting samples, and returning them to Earth. These missions are like sending explorers into the oldest archives of the cosmos, bringing back tiny grains of dust, older than Earth itself. When scientists study them, they are studying the earliest chapters of our story, from before our oceans formed, before our continents rose, before life even began to stir. But beyond science, there's also a dream. Asteroids may one day become stepping stones for human exploration. They hold metals and minerals that are rare on Earth, and some even carry water locked within their rocks. Future generations might mine them, live upon them, or use them as way stations on journeys to the outer planets. The very fragments of creation may help us reach farther into the stars. Yet in this dreamy moment, far from the noise of industry and ambition, we can see the asteroid belt not as a resource, but as a sanctuary. It is a place where time is slowed, where fragments of the past float endlessly, untouched. Each stone is a reminder that even broken things can have purpose, that even incomplete stories can still be beautiful. Close your eyes and imagine yourself sitting on the surface of a lonely asteroid. Beneath you, a dark, cold rock, older than the Earth itself. Above you, a canopy of endless stars. The sun is far, but still it warms you with its faint, golden glow. You are surrounded by silence, a silence so deep, so profound, that it feels like the universe is holding its breath. There are no storms here, no sounds, no rushing rivers of time, only stillness, only peace. Perhaps the asteroid belt is like a memory the solar system could not let go of. It is not the bustling Earth, with its oceans and forests. It is not the grand giants of gas, with their rings and moons. It is something quieter, something softer, a reminder that in between beginnings and endings, in between what could have been and what is, there lies a space, a gentle in-between. And so, as we leave the asteroid belt behind, let us carry with us the calm of these drifting stones. They may be fragments, but they are timeless. They may be incomplete, but they are whole in their own way. And like them, We too are fragments of a greater story, drifting in the universe, glowing faintly, beautifully, against the dark, beyond Saturn's shimmering rings, beyond the great storms of Jupiter, and beyond the scattered stones of the asteroid belt. There lies a region of the solar system. That feels less like a place, and more like a dream. The outer realms are vast, silent, and mysterious. They are home to worlds so distant, so cold, that sunlight takes hours to reach them. Here, the solar system grows thin, its familiar warmth fading, until what remains feels like a whisper creation. This is where the giant planets rule, and where the boundary between our sun's kingdom and the interstellar night begins to blur. The first traveler we meet is Uranus, a world tipped on its side, rolling rather than spinning, like a celestial marble tilted at an impossible angle. Its blue-green hue comes from methane in its atmosphere, a delicate veil that scatters sunlight in soft, cold tones. Uranus seems quiet, muted, like a planet lost in thought. Its seasons last for decades. Its winds whisper across frozen skies, and its rings, faint and shadowy, circle it like forgotten halos. Farther still, we reach Neptune, the most distant of the giant planets. Here, the winds howl at unimaginable speeds, faster than the strongest hurricanes on Earth. Yet in the quiet of this narration, let us imagine Neptune not as a storm, but as a deep ocean of indigo light. Its swirling blues invite us inward into a dreamlike sea, a place where silence and movement exist together. Neptune feels like the guardian of the edge, a final, watchful presence before the solar system gives way to shadows. But the outer realms are not only planets. They are filled with countless icy wanderers, dwarf planets, comets, and ancient bodies that drift slowly in the darkness. Among them is Pluto, once called the ninth planet, now honored as a dwarf planet. Though small, it carries a powerful story of human curiosity, of discovery, and of how our understanding of the universe evolves. Pluto is wrapped in ice, its heart-shaped plane a silent symbol of endurance and quiet beauty. It reminds us that even the smallest worlds can hold vast mysteries. Beyond Pluto lies the Kuiper Belt, a region of icy bodies, frozen relics of the solar system's birth. Each one drifts slowly, almost unnoticed, yet together they form a ring of secrets surrounding the sun. Here, time stretches differently. A single orbit can last centuries. A single moment feels like an eternity. The Kuiper Belt is not the end, but the beginning of a boundary, a threshold leading to the unknown. Far beyond it waits the Oort cloud, a vast, spherical halo of icy fragments, stretching almost halfway to the next stars. Though no one has seen it directly, it is believed to be real, a silent, hidden shell that marks the edge of the sun's influence. From here, comets are born. They are icy messengers, falling inward from the cold, blazing across our skies, then vanishing again into the night. And so, as we rest here in the outer realms, we begin to feel the weight of distance, the hush of space, the delicate thinning of sunlight. It is as though the solar system itself is exhaling, slowing down, preparing to hand us gently into the arms of the galaxy beyond. As we travel farther, past the quiet orbits of Neptune and Pluto, we enter a place where imagination itself must stretch to keep pace. The outer realms are not simply distant. They are almost immeasurable, stretching so far that the sun becomes a faint star in the sky. The Kuiper belt, which we touched upon before, is not empty. It is alive with thousands upon thousands of icy worlds. Some are as small as mountains, others rivaling Pluto in size. They orbit slowly, in vast, lonely paths, like beads on invisible strings of gravity. Each one is a frozen archive, holding the original ingredients of creation, untouched for billions of years. Imagine one of these icy travelers, a silent fragment drifting endlessly. It has no sound, no movement except its slow arc. Yet within it are secrets older than Earth, locked away in crystal ice and rock. Scientists believe these bodies carry the chemical fingerprints of the early solar system, clues about how planets formed, how water arrived on Earth, and perhaps even how the first sparks of life were kindled. Farther still lies the scattered disk, a region more chaotic, where icy objects move in stretched, tilted orbits, like dancers flung outward by the gravity of Neptune. Some of these wanderers may one day fall inward, becoming brilliant comets, their icy cores igniting into glowing tails that streak across Earth's skies. Others drift outward, exiled into darkness, never to return. And then there's the Oort cloud, a place so vast, it almost defies the human mind. It is said to form a sphere around the sun, extending trillions of kilometers in every direction. If the sun is a glowing heart, the Oort cloud is its soft, ghostly breath, fading into the silence of interstellar space. We have never seen it directly. No telescope has pierced its depths, yet we believe in it, because comets return to us again and again, and their long journeys can only be explained by such a distant reservoir. It is as though the solar system has a memory, a hidden library of icy fragments, sending whispers inward every so often to remind us of its presence. Imagine standing on one of those icy bodies. Far out in the Oort cloud, the sun would be no more than a star, faint and unremarkable. The Milky Way would blaze across the sky, a river of light more brilliant than anything near you. And in that silence, you might feel both incredibly small and deeply connected to something larger than life itself. The Oort cloud is not only an edge, it is a threshold. Beyond it lies interstellar space, where the influence of other stars begins to mingle with our own. Here, the boundary of the solar system is not sharp, but gradual, like the soft fading of a song. The sun's magnetic shield, its solar wind, grows weaker and weaker until the winds of other stars begin to drift in. And so, in these farthest regions, we begin to realize something profound. The solar system is not a closed shell, but a bridge, a meeting point between the fire of our sun and the endless ocean of the galaxy. Beyond the Oort cloud, beyond even the faintest whisper of the sun's breath, there lies a place without borders, the beginning of interstellar space. Here, the sun's light is just another star among many. Its warmth no longer reaches. Its magnetic field no longer protects. Instead, the vast winds of the galaxy itself flow endlessly, brushing against the edge of our solar system, like tides against the shore. Astronomers call this invisible boundary the heliopause. It is not a wall, but a transition, a blending of two seas. The solar wind from our sun and the interstellar wind from all the other stars around us. The spacecraft Voyager 1 and its twin Voyager 2 have reached this frontier. Launched more than 4 decades ago, they now drift silently, their signals faint whispers that still return to Earth. Voyager 1, the most distant human-made object in existence, has crossed into interstellar space. It sails now in the dark ocean, between the stars, carrying with it the golden record, a message of sounds, music, and greetings sent from Earth to whoever may one day find it. It is humbling to imagine 2 small machines built by human hands, now further from us than any explorer has ever been. They carry the voices of our world, whale songs, children's laughter, the heartbeat of our planet, drifting through eternity, beyond even the Voyagers. The galaxy itself awaits. Here, stars are born in clouds of gas, planets form and dissolve, and new solar systems rise and fall over billions of years. Our sun is just one of hundreds of billions in this spiral galaxy we call home, the Milky Way. And beyond the Milky Way, there are other galaxies, trillions of them, each with their own suns, their own planets, perhaps even their own dreamers. So when we speak of the outer realms, we are not only speaking of the edge of the solar system, we are speaking of a threshold into infinity, a soft horizon with a known and the unknown. Touch gently, and perhaps in the quiet of night, as you drift towards sleep, you can imagine yourself there, standing at the edge, looking back at the sun, so small and distant, yet still yours, and looking outward into the endless dark, feeling both wonder and peace, as you realize the journey never truly ends. And so, our gentle voyage through the solar system comes to a close. From the blazing warmth of the sun to Mercury's quiet deserts, Venus' swirling clouds, Earth's familiar embrace, the moon's serene glow, Mars' rusty plains, the drifting stones of the asteroid belt, Jupiter's giant storms, Saturn's dazzling rings, and finally, the mysterious outer realms, stretching into infinity. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the calm of space lingering in your mind, the silence of planets, the soft glow of distant stars, the patient, unhurried dance of cosmic worlds. You have drifted gently among them, and now you return, carrying the quiet beauty of the universe with you into the softness of your night. May your dreams tonight be as vast and serene as the solar system itself, filled with wonder, light, and gentle curiosity. Let the stars watch over you, the moon keep you company, and the calm of the cosmos guide you into deep, restful sleep. Good night and goodbye until we meet again for another journey of discovery